verdict has finally been reached today in the contentious Osun governorship elections, with the candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Adeleke, Oyetola, getting the nod of the Supreme Court to firm his victory in the September 2018 elections. The Apex Court dismissed the appeal filed by candidates of the People's Democratic Party and his candidate, Adeleke, in the split decision of 5-2. The court upheld the decision of the Court of Appeal, which nullified the judgment of the Osun State Governorship Elections Petition Tribunal on the grounds that the tribunal was not properly constituted with regards to numbers. Our correspondent Amaka Okafo reports.
It's Judgment Day as parties in the Osun State Governorship Appeal eagerly awaited the judgment of the Supreme Court. It did not take time for the panel of the Apex Court to arrive, and the presiding judge, Justice Bode Rhodes-Vival, announced that there was a split judgment and he participated in the majority judgment upheld by 5 members of the panel and will deliver the decision. In the judgment, the Apex Court agreed with the arguments of the counsel to Governor Oyetola of Osun State, Mr. Wole Olanipekun, that the majority judgment of the tribunal is a nullity because it was written and delivered by Justice Obiora, who did not participate in the February 6, 2019 proceedings of the tribunal, where vital documents related to the election were tendered and where vital witnesses gave evidence. However, in a minority judgment delivered by Justice Kumai Akas and supported by Justice Paul Galinje, both justices disagreed with the findings in the majority judgment on the absence of Justice Obiora on February 6th as a reason for dismissing the application. The minority judgment also held that the cancellation of the election in 7 polling units of 4 local government areas of Osun State by a returning officer was illegal, unlawful and unconstitutional, adding that by Section 179 of the 1999 Constitution, Senator Adeleke, who scored the highest votes in the main election and fulfilled the section, ought to have been declared winner of the election. The minority judgment further accused INEC of using inconclusiveness in election to perpetrate fraud and to do what it wanted to do even when it is illegal.
Our reaction is that there is nothing we can do about it, but I made a remark even before the justice of the Supreme Court to defend that their decision is final and binding, not because they are infallible, but this is the final decision you can get in the court of law in Nigeria.
We thank the Supreme Court for always contributing to the electoral jurisprudence of Nigeria. On our part, we are happy. We thank God for this victory. Now the governor of our state can settle down to the serious business of governance.
This judgment brings to an end the controversy surrounding the September 2018 Osun State governorship elections. Amaka Okafo, Channels Television News.
And shortly after the declaration of the Supreme Court affirming Governor Oyetola as the duly elected governor of Osun State, supporters of the APC and the governor trooped to the streets of Osogbo, the state capital, to celebrate the victory. Governor Oyetola also caught up with the train of celebrators, and he used the opportunity to offer an olive branch to the opposition for the growth and development of the state.
This is what victory is made of. Drummers, trumpeters and parted faithful of the All Progressives Congress marching through the streets of the Osun State capital. They are celebrating the Supreme Court decision to uphold the victory of Governor Gboyega Oyetola at the polls. In a celebratory mood, the governor cautions his supporters not to become complacent and extends a hand of friendship to the opposition.
I extend my hand of fellowship to everybody. I'm governor of APC, PDP, all the parties. I expect everybody to come on board and let's ensure that we move our state to the next level.
Meanwhile, at the country home of the candidate of the PDP, Senator Adeleke at Ede, there's very little to cheer about. Residents seem to have resigned to fate. In its reaction, the People's Democratic Party in Osun State says though the party is not pleased with the ruling, life must go on.
This issue of inconclusiveness continue to harass and bother genuine Democrats and so on and so forth. And like I've said, as politicians, in our political party, we have a duty. We sit down and put all of this, in real perspectives.
With this episode seemingly laid to rest, many residents will heave a sigh of relief and hope the state government can now settle down to business and fulfill its electoral promises to the people of Osun State.
Corroborating further, the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Senator Adeleke, believes that it's time to sheath swords and move on after the legal tussle. He did by congratulating Governor Oyetola on his victory at the Supreme Court today. Senator Adeleke, in a statement signed by spokesperson Olawale Rashid, says that as a Democrat and a law-abiding citizen, he accepts the ruling no matter his misgivings. He also affirms that his ambition was never a do-or-die affair. He also congratulated Governor Oyetola and wished him well with the governance of the state. Still on the court verdict, the People's Democratic Party says that it is shocked at the ruling of the Supreme Court on the contentious Osun State governorship election. The party explains that the judgment shows that the Supreme Court did not negate the position of the PDP and millions of Nigerians that Senator Adeleke won the election, but based its verdict on reservations over issues of technicalities arising from the Election Petition Tribunal. The statement from the PDP says, quote, "Our party stands with the overwhelming majority of Nigerians on that undeniable fact that the people of Osun State, by the votes cast at the polls, preferred Senator Adeleke as their governor. The PDP, as a law-abiding party, however, urges the people of Osun State to remain united, calm, and not lose hope in our democratic process and the quest for a government that truly represents their wishes and aspirations." End of quote. The party is asking its loyalists and supporters to keep faith in its future plans. The decision of the Supreme Court today lays to rest months of legal tussle on the Osun State governorship elections, from the tribunal to the appeal court and then to the Supreme Court. The dissatisfied candidates argue their cases until a verdict was reached. Our correspondent, Millicent Walker, traces the story from when it all started.
The Osun State governorship election on September the 22nd, 2018 began like any other election in Nigeria. Voters trooped out to select their preferred candidates, with the different political parties slugging it out for the #1 seat in the state. But the outcome of that election took many by surprise, when after calling the local government areas and the number of votes, it came down to two political parties with the highest number. And then, this happened.
From the analysis of results that we have, the difference between the two leading parties is just 353. And the number of voters in units where elections were cancelled is 3,498. To that effect, unfortunately, as a returning officer, it's not possible to declare any party as the clear winner of this election.
Following the announcement by the returning officer, the People's Democratic Party rejected the outcome. After the rerun poll, Mr. Oyetola was declared winner of the governorship election with a total of 255,505 votes ahead of the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, who polled 255,023 votes to come second.
I give the entire faith to the people of the state for believing in our party.
This is the worst election, this supplementary election, I've never seen it. It has turned to a shame. It has become a shame to Nigerian democracy.
Next was the legal contest. The PDP candidate, Mr. Adeleke, filed a petition to challenge the victory of Mr. Oyetola of the All Progressives Congress. Mr. Adeleke claimed that he polled the highest number of votes in the election in a split judgment, 2-1. The Osun Tribunal ruled in Mr. Adeleke's favor, declaring him the winner of the election. The tribunal ruled that INEC was wrong to have ordered a rerun election. On appeal by Mr. Oyetola, the Court of Appeal overruled the lower court, stating that the tribunal was in patent error when it set aside the rerun. The court held that the judge who issued the majority decision at the tribunal, Peter Obiora, was absent on February 6, 2019, when a major discussion on the issue of non-compliance was tabled before the tribunal. Mr. Adeleke, displeased with that ruling, approached the Supreme Court, and in a majority judgment of 5-2, the court affirmed Mr. Oyetola's election as Osun governor, agreeing substantially with the Court of Appeal.